What's going on, ScrewTube? So before I get to the topic of today's video, well, the main topic of today's video, I'm very pleased to announce that I have finally gotten written, recorded, and produced the first two of the four Audible blogs that I owe you guys who are paid patron members over on patreon.com/ Brian Too Bad TV Solange. In addition to that, I want to extend my deepest and sincerest apologies. You know, it's kind of brutally ironic that I'm producing all this free content across three platforms, BitChute, Black Avenger, and YouTube for absolutely free. Yet the people who are paying my black ass, I'm not, I haven't been cranking out content the way I'm supposed to be. I told you guys it's the Brian Blogs Corner Club member promise that I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that I produce nothing less than 4 audio blogs for you guys every month. That's one a week. I feel that if you're paying the $7 a month fee, I owe you that at the very least. So yeah, I want to apologize to you guys. I know it's been getting later and later that I've been cranking out these blogs, but I finally found some time. And what I'm probably going to wind up doing is I'm probably going to wind up in the future, I will just go ahead and I'll crank the blogs out, 1, 2, 3, 4 at the beginning of the month. Like within the first week, just take them out and then, upload them, produce them and schedule them to be released at least once a week. Because again, you guys are paying members. I do expect you to expect not to only, sign up because you showing the appreciation to me for, the free content that I'm producing, which is absolutely extravagant and magnificent, of course, but also for you to expect to be getting what you pay for over on Patreon. So again, I sincerely apologize, but just to let you know, the first two of those 4 blogs have been produced. Again, the first blog is a 14-minute audio that includes a multi-paragraph essay, aka blog, entitled "The Real Reason Black Women Who Think They're Trap Queens Dime Pieces Stay Losing in the Dating Game." This is a audio blog that I've been planning to produce since the beginning of this month, and I'm glad that I finally got around to producing it for you guys who are my special supporters. In addition to this blog, I also have this audio blog ready and made, coming down the pipe for you guys. It's scheduled for release at approximately 10 a.m. on April the 26th. That is this upcoming Friday. This audio blog, it also contains a multi-paragraph essay, aka blog, for the written blog for those of you who actually still read. And it's going to be regarding a topic that has always it's always kind of made me chuckle, but also perplexed me at the same time. Why do hood rats wear multicolor weaves? Including, we've seen these bimbos. The black wig is enough, but we see a lot of them running around with blonde weaves, red, blue, purple, all kinds of ridiculous spray painted looking hair hats on their heads. So I'm going to be addressing that again in an 8-minute audio blog. It also contains a blog article for those of you who actually read. That's going to be available 10 a.m. sharp Central Standard Time, and that's going to be this coming Friday. Now, in addition to this, I owe those of you who are paying customers 2 more audio blogs. I'm up in Chicago visiting family, and I'm also up here on business. I'm going to be back on my end before the week is out, more than likely. But whether I am or not, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take out those next two blogs and get those uploaded for you guys before the end of the week. They're going to be scheduled to be time released, just like my Hood Rat Multicolor Weave blog, audio blog, and that is going. All three of those blogs are going to be coming down the pipe again, starting with the Hood Rat Multicolor Weave blog on Friday, and then the other two should follow. I'm not going to tell you what the subjects are, but they're going to be just as interesting, just as quality as the two blogs I have available, and my free videos that I produce here on Black Avenger TV and also over on BitChute. So if you haven't signed up yet, make sure you sign up today for just $7 a month. You get exclusive content to all the audio blogs on Brian Blog's Corner Club, and yeah, that's what's coming down the pipe. Also, I want to give a special shout out to the following brothers: Ronald, Tyrone, and Charles. These were the last three brothers that donated to my PayPal. I'm going to try to start doing these shout outs more often. Thank you guys so much for your generous donations. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I don't do this for free. I do this because this is my passion. Writing and making videos has been something that I've been doing since I was 6 years old, and now I have an avenue to do it, and I have a topic to keep me forever permanently focused. And I appreciate all of my supporters, but I definitely appreciate my special supporters that are donating funds to my rights to freedom of speech, and I really truly appreciate that. If you want to donate to my PayPal, the link is down in the description box of this and every video that I produce. And again, thank you, brothers, so much, all of you, my special supporters, both my PayPal donors and my monthly Brian Corners Club members over on Patreon.com. Also, I have to touch on this subject that just by happenstance came across my eyeballs when I was watching another brother's take on the Ancestry.com slavery bedwench commercial that's been causing a stir on black social media with a lot of butt-hurt black males that are pretending like they don't know what it was or is still is with the black American female in the year 2019. This brother in his video, he played a Russia Today news report clip on this whole Ancestry.com um, um, story. And in the clip, they were showing this black female who is a news anchor for Russia Today. Now, for those of you who don't know or haven't noticed, Russia Today is fast rising as one of the more credible and respectable online global news networks. And they are based out of Moscow, Russia, of course. And a lot of people are saying that they have um, ulterior motives, but I think it's really just Russia's way of trying to expand to a global audience, like CNN does. They don't just report on Russia's news. They're presenting themselves as kind of like a universally known network that produces different stories on several different topics around the world. And it's just Russia's way of expanding out to present itself as a commendable power in the world of not only journalism, but just the overall socioeconomic stratosphere. And I found it particularly interesting that of the 2 dozen or so, not even quite 2 dozen news reporters that Russia Today has, they have two black females, but no black male. And one of the black females that they have, this Ashlee Banks woman, looks she looks like a supermodel. I know she's really done up with the weave and the lipstick and the eyeliner, but when you look at her compared to the other females the other white and Hispanic and other types of females that work there, I mean, she really goes out of her way to look highly attractive. And what I decided to do was, because there's several things that I need to address in relation to this. Because the question that I asked myself is, why would a global network or not, why would a news network out of Russia have not one but two black female reporters in a country based out of a country that where black people don't even represent 0.3% of the population? And I think I figured out what the situation is with that. And so that is the link. The link to that particular video is down in the description box. That is a video that is available right now on bitshoot.com. You can click that link either in the description box or in the pinned post. So, yeah, that's available right now. Now to the main course. I have to, after listening to today's news, I had to weigh in on this just briefly in regards to the Boy Scouts of America, as some of you may have heard, and this alleged controversy about them withholding and concealing what they call perversion files at BSA of an alleged 7,800 suspected pedophiles over the course of several decades. Now, the reason why I decided to touch on this is because I made a video based on something that I just happened to come across on YouTube over a year ago. And that video is going to be, there's going to be a link to it also down in the description box, right below the video in relation to Russia Today and how it connects to the whole corporate American hood rat dynamic. And in this video, I gave a commentary on a story that I believe it was the BBC did a couple of years ago, regarding addressing child sex tourism in, I believe that was Kenya, and how they had this white male journalist go into these rural villages in Kenya and talk with the townspeople, and they were telling him about the big issue with their children, and specifically their young teenage daughters being drawn into prostitution by these white tourists, these white male tourists that go to clubs, bars, and walk along the beach in Kenya for the specific purpose of picking up black underage prostitutes. And I pointed out in that video that there's nothing under the sun, there's nothing swept underneath the rug that does not have the backing and authorization, directly or indirectly, of society itself. And what I meant by that was, just as I was certain that the townspeople in Kenya were not only aware of what their daughters were doing, were not only prepping their children, as they even reported in the fucking news report, they were prepping their underage children to go out and have sex with these white male tourists. These village people were making money. Their children were the ones that were doing this shit. Their children were being used as financial assets to bring in money to those villages. And they're pretending like they don't know what the fuck is going on, or that like they're powerless to stop it. I made that video over a year ago. And one of the many things that I used to validate my point is that when this white reporter from the BBC that was a complete stranger, this white man, he went to the rural villages. He had no fear of any reprisals. You would think if their children are being molested by dirty old white men that are foreigners coming in, they would be reluctant to let this news anchor dude come into their villages with cameras. And not only that, but walk and talk along the same beaches with the same kids where they're getting picked up by these white tourists. And yet on multiple occasions, this white dude, this tourist, this journalist, this reporter, he was able to walk with some of these young girls and talk with them about where they go to get picked up by these white men and what's actually happening. And I said the reason why they're doing that, the reason why they were open to that, letting this white stranger into their village and taking their kids miles away from the village, is because this is something that they've been doing anyway. Him and his news agency team probably paid them a little money to take one of those girls away so they could do their story and walk along the beach for the scenery effect. And my point that I was making overall is that this pedophile shit, everybody tries to act like they're so outraged. Everybody tries to act like they didn't know what the fuck was going on. But you explain to me, okay? And this is just now coming out about the Boy Scouts of America. But explain this to me. I said the same thing. A lot of people have been saying the same thing about the Catholic Church, about these black pastors in these black churches. The same thing about these people in these daycare centers. The Jerry Sandusky case. That other case that I forget where it was. It was either Ohio State or Kent State or some shit like that, with that Larry Nasser dude. I said the same thing in that case. How the fuck can you have these many short eyes, these many child molesters? How the fuck can you have these many child molesters in a single organization doing what they do for as long as they do it and getting away with it? Let me tell y'all something. 7,800 suspected fucking pedophiles is not something that you can exactly fucking hide, okay? Some of those kids are coming and telling adults, okay? This is shit, just like I said in the Ancestry.com commercial about, this outrage over black women sleeping with white men back during the slave days, okay? This is something that is common knowledge. Why is everybody pretending like they're so outraged? Pedophiles like homosexuals have gone back. They go as far back as the dawn of mankind. Okay? They have been being protected in this country alone since the Declaration of Independence. Thomas Jefferson ring any fucking bells? The cold hard fact is, a lot of people who live unorthodox and in some cases illicit lifestyles, whether you're talking about drug dealers, homosexuals, pedophiles, whatever, not comparing the three, so don't be stupid, but I'm just saying people who live unorthodox, alternate, outside of the box, secret lives or not so secret lives. A lot of these people hold power, and a lot of them are representative of important positions in society. Okay, Jerry Sandusky, a assistant, uh, what was it, football coach at Penn State, to Joe Paterno, one of the most winningest college football coaches in NCAA history. Larry Nassar, a sports athletics doctor who also helped a lot of female gymnasts that went on to win gold at the Summer Olympics. Okay, these Catholic priests, the Catholic Church, for whatever reason, to this day, I don't know why, because it's clear they've been exposed as pure fucking scum, but they are, because people, they put so much of their faith into their religious belief fallacies. Okay, the Catholic hierarchy, from the archdiocese to the Vatican, are put on this pedestal that up until just recently, meaning within the last 2 decades, that law enforcement's been hauling these motherfuckers off, that's been booty busting these altar boys, have been practically untouchable. And they're untouchable not because they're holy, but because people are turning a blind fucking eye to what the fuck is going on. Now you have 7,800 suspected pedophiles. And a large number of these people are not, they're not lower ranking counselors or assistants. A lot of these are troop masters, just like Catholic priests. These are troop masters in the Boy Scouts of America. It's funny. I remember watching this documentary where they were talking about how black boys weren't allowed into the Boy Scouts of America for the longest fucking time, and now I'm kind of glad they weren't. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna leave that alone. I started to say something racial, but I'm gonna leave that alone because this is YouTube. But I mean, man, I'm glad they discriminated against the brothers, because, man, it's just some weird shit going on. But again, you think people don't know who the child molesting troop masters were? 7,800 pedophiles is a lot of fucking child molesters in under one organization. And this has gone under the radar for this fucking long, just like the Catholic Church. They've been raping altar boys for the last 200 years, and it just started coming out 20 years ago. Come on, man. And I'm going to tell y'all something that's even deeper. And a lot of people are going to have trouble accepting this. Just like everybody's known about the crooked snitch that is the black pimp, aka black pastor. Okay? Just like most people have known, even though they don't want to accept it to this day, about, these black bed wenches swirling with white men, even back in the slave days, willingly having biracial children with them. Not only have parents and people, on the boards that govern these organizations like the Boy Scouts of America have known about this shit, but law enforcement has known about this shit. But they turn a blind eye. See, what I've come to learn, when it comes to human beings, most people follow the path of least resistance. That's why you can have a controversy like, what's happening with these Boeing aircraft, these 737 Max aircraft falling out of the sky, or that incident with United Airlines so many years ago where they dragged that Asian dude off of one of their planes. Or you call in to somebody's customer service hotline for an issue that you're having a problem with their services, and you don't get the help that you need. But then if you take that same issue, it don't matter what it is, Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, or the sex scandal at whatever university that was that Larry Nassar was working at, or even this Ancestry.com commercial. You take that same issue, that same incident, and you blow it up on the news, on social media, on mass media. You get a bunch of people talking about it, and then the very same motherfuckers that was trying to keep it under wraps, that was trying to pretend like they didn't see that shit, the police included, the federal government and the FBI included, then all of a sudden they're kicking ass and taking names. Now all of a sudden people are getting fired left and right. Now all of a sudden people are getting arrested and charged. Now all of a sudden they're releasing a statement talking about we're dedicating the full forces of such and such into looking into this matter and investigating. Okay? Pedophiles is kind of like those vampire movies. Y'all remember that? Those vampire movies where the vampires, they weren't just, like Blade, the one with Wesley Snipes, the first one that came out. You notice in those vampire movies, they were saying, vampires, they're not laying in coffins like the movies from old, where they just laying in coffins in some dusty ass house in a basement. No, vampires, they hold high level positions. They had their money invested in government. They're paying the police. They're paying a lot of these corporations. They own half of downtown. And of course, we know vampires don't really exist unless you're talking about leeches, mosquitoes, and lawyers. But that's a subject for another video. But the point that they were making in those videos is that man has an inclination. Okay, the people who are fucking weirdos in a lot of cases, they hold. I mean, fuck. Who was it? J. Edgar Hoover was a closeted homosexual. While he was sitting up there talking about Martin Luther King and his sexual deviancy, this dude was wearing women's lipstick and rouge, wearing a wig, and got caught in a picture sucking some other dude's dick. Okay? But again, who was J. Edgar Hoover? He was the director of the FBI. Okay? So just like homosexuals and other people in our society that live unorthodox lifestyles, pedophiles, in a lot of cases, they hold high positions in society. And if they hold a high enough position, oh yeah, they'll go after some pedophile, just some weirdo that's hanging around a schoolyard. Oh yeah, some dude standing there too long looking at the little kids playing on the playground. Oh yeah, the police, they'll come right down on that motherfucker in a hot second. Just some bum out on the street. Yeah. Okay? But it's just like everything else. The slave master with the slave woman. People who are, you know, homosexual, people that are in so-called organized crime, the mafia. Is the mafia still allowed to operate for the most part to this day? I think some mob boss just recently got gunned down in New York. Okay? Because people who lead either these illicit, underground criminal lifestyles, or just unorthodox, meaning not your normal, everyday run-of-the-mill lifestyles. Okay, a lot of them hold, or even minority groups. Okay, not the black minority, like Jews. A lot of people that are marginalized in our society is what I'm trying to say. Whether they lead legal lifestyles or illegal lifestyles. Okay, and in this case, since we're talking about pedophiles, okay, they hold high positions in society. They have a lot invested in society. Okay, and society has a lot invested in them. And so long as they are serving, a greater good, as they say, people, including the parents of a lot of these people, are willing to turn a blind fucking eye. What the fuck do you think R. Kelly not being behind bars for this damn long was about? What do you think him making all those tapes of young women, and those tapes just now surfaced 10, 20 fucking years later, was all about? What do you think those two young girls that he's living with and banging every night in his bedroom, that are half his age, and said that their parents pawned them off on him even though they didn't want a career in singing, is all about? Why didn't law enforcement go after him before this stupid R. Kelly documentary came out? Because pedophiles like R. Kelly, like the 7,800 troop masters in the Boy Scouts of America, like the Catholic priests, I almost said preacher. that would have been ironic. But like the Catholic priests, in the archdiocese, like Jerry Sandusky, like Larry Nasser, like Roman Polanski, like so many of these motherfuckers, they serve a greater good in the eyes of society. And because of that, a blind eye is turned away from their illicit sexual appetite for little kids. Just like in the vampire movie where Blade said he hated familiars. There were human beings, and when you look out throughout history, there were, well, we're going to leave that alone. We're going to leave that alone. But there were, no, we're going to leave that alone. We're going to leave that alone. Because no. Okay, but there were certain types of people that were helping the Nazis exterminate their own people. I'll just leave it at that. Okay. In the vampire movie, in Blade, there were human beings called that Blade labeled as familiars. Blade, for those of you who don't know, he was a vampire killer. And he said he hated familiars worse than he did vampires. Why? Just like there were black people that were helping white people oppress black people. Okay? This has been going on for centuries. All right? There were human beings in the vampire movies that were helping find the vampires' victims so they could drink their blood in hopes that they would somehow get rewarded by the vampires. And they were getting paid by the vampires. Okay? These pedophiles, their sick sexual appetite, illicit sexual appetite for little children or underage children, okay, is being fed and turned a blind eye to, because a lot of them hold high positions in society, which is why I don't waste my time voting. I don't waste my time worshiping religion. I don't waste my time listening to political pundits. I don't waste my time celebrating holidays, birthdays, saluting the American flag, none of that bullshit. Because I know most of the shit that people do is just a fucking front to hide what is truly underneath the surface, or as I said before, swept just underneath the fucking rug. Talk to you later, guys.